they have. In most jurisdictions, we have moved. We are not, and I'm glad the committee is not prescribing banning, because banning, for example, in India, that is what they do in India and in some of those, but they do it. And India is a very stable economy and a big economy, but they do it all the same. They have banned properly TikTok. They've just banned it because of national security and so on. But I am glad that we are not moving that direction, that we are moving in the direction of robust content moderation and regulatory control and oversight. We have to create an oversight deliberately to be able to monitor and to give our children things that are useful for them. I am told, I am not an expert on this, but Honorable Mrugari tells me that there is something called filters. There is something which, there's a way in which they can filter this information so that not children, everybody, especially, for example, children under 16, should not be exposed to some of this. But again, they should also be exposed to education material, because they run those education material even on TikTok. Nowadays, we are CBC parents. We have come home and we are teaching children even through the TikTok. So we'd have to have a situation in which there are information which can be passed to a group of people, but cannot be reached by another group of people. African customary practice, and this is something which we as a people and adults in us and parents in us must speak about this clearly, even at the expense of being very, of children saying that we are too conservative. In an African customary practice, children must obey their parents. It is biblical. And you must say it at home. Even if children don't like it, we must say it. That they must obey their parents, because we also obeyed our parents. And this is how we seem to be. Now, I see that leaders, give me a few moments, I put together this, I'll just be finishing in a few seconds. Leaders are abused everywhere. Young people have no regard to leaders. In fact, it is a virtue to speak negatively to a leader. It is a virtue to abuse your parents. It is a virtue to expose your parents even to some things which are, sexual in nature, profane in nature, immoral things. They find it very laughable. African customary practice must be maintained, because I'm an African, because that is what I am, and I'm proud of it. We have to teach our children. They are not going to become Europeans. They are not going to be Chinese. They will still be Africans. So parents must speak with authority that...
1 minute, Honorable TJ.
We must speak by authority and say that there are things which cannot be done and things which must be done, because that is why we gave... We sired these children, and we are leaders for the time being until they become adults. So the question of cybersecurity, for example, the only thing that I wanted to bring out, I have seen recommendations made by the committee, but there is this recommendation saying in 280, for example, that Kenya Information and Communication be amended to mandate. I would have wished that you would have brought to us a text of amending that regulation inside this report, so that we just don't go back to the committee in charge of, we are going back again. You would have told us what section to add, so that we give the Communication Authority the power to be able to regulate this industry and to give us the content that we have. I think that because we have that constitutional mandate, so why are we still going around it? We should have come here and put in the report, and the next time we have a bill before us, so that we create an authority, we create a mandate within that authority to be able